Welcome to the Instant Trivia Podcast, episode 5021, where we ask the best trivia on the internet. Let's get started. What year did Canadian figure skater Elvis Stojko retired from professional skating? 2006. Which exiled South Asian leader returned home in 2007, only to be assassinated 2 months later? Benazir Bhutto. From what language did English borrow the word kumquat? Cantonese. What layer of the atmosphere is closest to the Earth? The troposphere. What planet has the shortest day at 10 hours? Jupiter. What 1996 movie earned Sean Penn his first Oscar nomination? Dead Man Walking. Central African Republic shares its western border with which country? Cameroon. On Christmas Day, 800 AD, who was coronated as Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire? Charlemagne. Canada's motto, "From sea to sea," is derived from what? Psalm 72 verse 8 in the Bible. He shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. Apophobia is the abnormal of what? Answer: bees. Many such phobics are afraid of other stinging insects, such as hornets and wasps. What actor played the role of Captain John McIntyre on the TV show MASH? Wayne Rogers. What did the 1928 Kellogg-Briand Pact, signed by 62 nations, denounce? War. What was the original brand of cereal whose mascot was Chip the Wolf? Cookie Crisp. Dhaka is the capital of which Asian country? Bangladesh. What is the collective name for household deities worshipped by the Romans? Lares. What is the only U.S. state that borders a Canadian territory? Alaska. Which novelist created the character Helen West? Francis Fifield. What movie was split into 2 parts, Death Proof and Planet Terror? Grindhouse. What legendary pirate helped defend New Orleans during the War of 1812? Jean Lafitte. U2's Paul Hewson is better known by which nickname? Bono. What caused the Tacoma Narrows Bridge to collapse in 1940? Wind. Poor design and engineering led to this. What is the capital of Albania? Tirana. Who published his last novel, A Passage to India, in 1924, though he lived 46 more years? E.M. Forster. What is the name of the mansion where Elvis Presley died? Graceland. What was the name of the winged horse in Greek mythology? Pegasus. The movies Black Hawk Down, Blade Runner, and Gladiator were all directed by whom? Ridley Scott. What musical did Cats surpass as the longest running in Broadway history? A chorus line. What word for mud bricks comes to us from the ancient Egyptian word DT? Adobe. What does PS stand for at the end of a letter? Postscript. What detective was created by Dashiell Hammett in his novel The Maltese Falcon? Sam Spade. Which musical act went by the name Two Tons o' Fun in their early career? The Weather Girls. What is the only New World member of OPEC? Venezuela. The Gulf War occurred after Iraq invaded what country? Kuwait. What fruit comes in Eureka and Meyer variety? Lemons. Which actress was born Joyce Penelope Wilhelmina Frankenberg? Jane Seymour. On June 25, 1993, Kim Campbell became the first female prime minister of which country? Canada. What is the only nation that borders both Andorra and Portugal? Spain. What hero of 1926 played herself in the 1927 film Swim Girl Swim? Gertrude Ederle. Who won the 1990 Nobel Peace Prize? Mikhail Gorbachev. What kind of a creature is Hobbes from the comic strip Calvin and Hobbes? A tiger. Xenophobia is the irrational fear of what? Dogs. Usually the phobic fears large, vicious-looking dogs. In severe cases, the she cannot deal with small dogs or puppies. Which British sax player fronted the band Paraphernalia? Barbara Thompson? What U.S. state has been governed by Gifford Pinchot and Milton Shapp? Pennsylvania. February is named after a Latin word meaning what? Purification. Which U.S. state's name begins but doesn't end with the letter A? Arkansas. What animal lives in a holt or couch? An otter. What did ancient Sumerians typically use to construct their homes? Sun-dried clay bricks. The U.S. hockey team upset which team during the 1980 Miracle on Ice? What is the shortest and bloodiest of Shakespeare's plays? Macbeth? What blood type is the universal receiver? Answer: AB positive. It is the universal receiver because it contains both antigens A and B, as well as the Rh factor. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for more exciting trivia.